As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Well, I've got to go with Eric Weddle, who is pulling off what may be everyone's dream to be able to sit around all season and do nothing and then join a team in the playoffs to make a playoff run and hopefully win a Super Bowl. Eric Weddle going to be joining the Rams, who have had some injury issues on the back end. Last time he played a football game was 2019, started all 16 games for the Rams, multiple Pro Bowler, super experienced safety. Was a captain and signal caller on the defenses where he always played. So he's a guy that's got enough tenure and understanding of the game to be able to step in and help right away. But that's awesome, isn't it? Coming in fresh, baby, for a playoff run. Let's go.
Yeah, he's 37 years old, retired after the 2019 season, started every game for the Rams that year. And he is a guy that, I've known several guys that have played with him, Tony Jefferson and all kinds of guys. They love this guy. So you saw what Jalen Ramsey tweeted. He was like, hey, this is my brother. Like, let's get it. Mm-hmm. And how good of shape can you be in when you've been retired for that long? That's my question.
I don't know. Retiring is different than not getting on somewhere. When you don't get on somewhere, you're staying in football shape. You're going to be in some drills. You're going to be doing some stuff, trying to stay as sharp as you can in case you have to pick up midseason to be ready to play right away. And you can't be in good shape. You just can't be. And I don't know how much he's going to play. If he ends up playing a lot, he's going to pull a groin or a hamstring or something, soft tissue injury. But who knows? You got a little bit of time to try and get prepared, but that's definitely going to be tough on the body.
Do you think this signals that Eric Weddle knows that DeAndre Hopkins isn't going to play in this game? Because you think he was like, wait, I will come back. And this is a guy that went to like 6 Pro Bowls. Like, he's a really, really good safety. He's a really good player. Great beard also. But do you think he was like, I'm only doing this if you can assure me that Hopkins isn't coming back for this game? I mean, that's my read on it. Maybe I'm going too far, like conspiracy theory on that.
Number one, I'll only play if Hopkins is out. Number two, like, I don't know what his contract situation is, but I would make sure you have in writing that the team has to pay any type of targeting fine that you pick up. Because the last thing you want to do is have your targeting in the only game you play, if you guys lose, still your entire salary for that one game.
But you know how it works,
or end up
man.
in the hole, maybe.
Yeah, you know how it works. And this is something that people may not realize. Everyone gets paid the same for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And it's most people take not most, a lot of guys take a massive pay cut.
Yeah. So yeah,
because it's like set checks, right? By what
by
how
round.
long you've been in.
Yeah, you get more the more you advance.
Okay,
the more money
so
you get.
It's not even like everyone gets the exact same check. It doesn't go on tenure or anything, right? So it's
I think it's the same check. So yeah, if he gets an unnecessary roughness penalty using the crown of his helmet, he could owe money for the return, which
could be in the hole.
Be so funny. All right, who do you have as your loser of the week?
I had to go with Jameson Williams. I know we talked about it a little bit there. Alabama confirmed. I think we all knew off of watching it live, but torn ACL, and he's got a decision to make. The Monday deadline for guys declaring for the draft is quickly approaching. He's the number 1 wide receiver in the class by both McShay and Kiper, number 6 player overall. So I don't know how much an ACL surgery is going to affect that. I think they probably feel pretty confident in the surgeries these days, but people are going to use it. And, who knows what he feels like. Maybe wanted to really win a championship. My guess is he probably still bails, but I guess you kind of have to wait and see what the surgery make sure it takes and you don't have any complications.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the SEC going, please declare, please declare, please declare. So he's a really good player. And once again, I think the complexion of that game changed drastically when he went down in the first half of that one. Who knows? We'll never know. Injuries are part of the game. That's how it is. Uh, I don't feel bad for Bama, right? All you got to do is remember the Colt McCoy injury in that national championship game where Bama ended up winning it. So sometimes those things balance out in the football world. But yeah, I think he'll declare. But one of the things, and this is right, football is, it's a physical, dangerous game where guys get injured. Like, if he goes from being the first receiver off the board to the second or the third, that can be a gigantic loss for him financially. And
Yeah.
I wonder if he had any insurance heading into that national championship game. I hope he did,
Well,
because
I guarantee he had insurance, but I don't know that it would ever be big enough for him to accept, because unless you can have like a pick protected insurance
right.
that you can cash in on, but I think it's like you've got to basically agree to never play again, or not play at least for a really long time.
Yeah. Oh, that's certainly not going to be the case. He tore his ACL, his leg didn't fall off, but
Right.
that's one of the things. Like, if he was going to be the 5th pick and now all of a sudden he's the 15th pick, like, being the 15th pick is still great, but that's so much money he
A
lost.
lot.
So
A lot.
we'll see. All right. If you're a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing. Head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That is the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year round. In 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan, and became the first American distillery to win the competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, the Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners are from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. I have been told, though, Ted, Spirit 66 in Norman just got a big old shipment of Balcones products. So
Okay.
maybe go snag some at Spirit 66 there in Norman, and make sure you bank at First Fidelity Bank. First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma, tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank also provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank at First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information. All right, for my winner of the week, thought about going with New York Giants fans because they fired Joe Judge. Now, turns out calling back-to-back QB sneaks, including one on 3rd and 9, won't get you fired right away, but you start searching for a general manager. You start figuring out that no one wants to work with your head coach, and that ends up being the fireable offense. So Joe Judge is gone after 2 seasons with the New York Giants, and I can't imagine that New York Giants fans aren't thrilled about that.
I wonder if he's thrilled about that. You know, if you're trying to sabotage your own career and get fired, maybe get a nice little buyout. It's toxic there in New York. You don't want to be the coach there anymore. Sneak on 3rd and 9. Let's go. Let's really piss everyone off.
Yeah. Remember, he was almost the Mississippi State coach. So I wonder if he's looking at that going, man, that would have been much better. But also thought about going with Texas Tech head basketball coach Mark Adams. Turns out that man can coach. Red Raiders went on the road and beat previously unbeaten, #1 Baylor in Waco. snapping a 21-game win streak for the Bears. That is a hell of a win for Mark Adams and for Texas Tech. The Big 12, and we'll start talking some more hoops moving forward. The Big 12 is a grind, man.
No, it is. And to be able to, the Big 12 is all about, you have to hold serve at home. You have to win home games, and you have to try and steal a couple of games out on the road. And to go take one from Baylor on the road that gives you a nice leg up to start Big 12 play early in the year. That's going to be, there's probably not going to be another team, maybe one, go in and beat Baylor on their court.
Yeah, but my winner of the week, people that don't want the college football playoff to expand. The 10 commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick met. There's been all kinds of meetings about this for these people, and they just can't come to an agreement on what college football playoff expansion should look like. Bob Bowlesby, our guy Bob Bowlesby, came out guns blazing. He's not happy. Said they didn't even come close to getting something done, and said that people are being selfish. They're doing what's best for them and not what's best for the entirety of college football. And it sounds like the holdups are revenue distribution, how the bowls are going to tie into this thing. Big debate over automatic qualifiers for the Power Five, for the, it will be the Group of Five, the highest ranked champion. How's that all going to work? There's 6 different formats that they're discussing, and they just can't agree on anything. And for one, I'm shocked that all these people that couldn't work together last year during all the COVID stuff now all of a sudden can't work together now. I mean, just stunned. We know it's going to happen. What the hell?
It is. It's a tough situation, just by the nature of college football and the way that everyone has allowed it to be regulated and played and set up for so many years, that here you are, you're trying to stick a square peg into a round hole right now with a bunch of different, it's not all just seamless in equal parts and you just plug it all in and it works seamlessly. Everyone's represented by different people. Everyone wants their voice heard. Everyone wants to negotiate for themselves and feels like they are the most important person in the room. It's not easy to do. But for the folks that, don't want college football expansion, you are the short-term winner. But you were dealt a blow whenever the ratings of the championship game came out, and it's the lowest rated championship game ever. And the trend continues to be negative for that game. So it's inevitable. It's going to be like pulling teeth to get there, it looks like.
Yeah. And Greg Sankey was the one going around being like, oh, we're staying at 4? Fine. Great. Yeah. Good.
He was just terrible. Terrible for us.
He was out there peacocking hard. I was like, all right, we get it, Greg. But yeah, I guess if these people don't agree on a format, and it sounds like they got a couple more years where they could do it to where they could implement this before the current television contract is up. I don't know, but I still think they'll figure it out eventually. But this has been a PR nightmare for the college football playoff. Why did they come out and say anything in June? Now, once again, the OU Texas stuff happened, and that kind of shook up the world of college football. And maybe realignment is a big factor in the fact that we could see things continue to shake up in college football from that standpoint here in the next couple of years. But I don't know, man. It doesn't sound like these people are getting along very well and working together very well. So we'll see. But I saw all these reports and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm curious to see what the network's representation has been saying in some of those meetings, because ESPN has it all right now, and it sounds like a lot of people want it to be opened up to other carriers, other networks to have a share, and ultimately that's how, like, just like the NFL playoffs are, and you end up making more money that way. And, you know, I can understand that. I can understand ESPN wanting to maintain all of it. Here's the problem. If you let that contract expire, I've said this before, there's a chance Bezos comes in and is like, "No, I'll buy it. I'll just buy the whole thing and stream it all on Amazon," and everyone loses. You know, the networks lose what they've wanted all along and been trying to play hardball with it. That, I think that's something that you kind of have to worry about a little bit in the back of your mind. Maybe that's something that's, you know, guaranteed to not happen, but the streaming stuff is something to look out for, man. They've got more money than they know what to do with.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it this week, but Apple getting into Major League Baseball, it's only the beginning.
I know that ESPN and Fox, like, they've been doing it for a long time, and they just feel like it's theirs and they're entitled to it. You, boy, be careful, man. Be careful. Those tech companies have more money than you could ever dream of, and buying the streaming service to, like, the NFL or the college football playoff is pennies to them.
And it could be a situation where it's like, oh, it's the Tesla college football playoff. You're just like, oh no. Oh gosh, Elon Musk is running it. Oh boy. Okay,
Yeah.
for my loser of the week, thought about going with myself because apparently I'm the only person on earth not playing Wordle. I don't really know what it is. I haven't.
I've never even heard of that.
It is. It's taking the nation by storm. I don't know. It has something to do with words. I know that,
Is
but
it
like,
kind of like Words with Friends used to be? I mean, that was a big deal at one point.
I think it maybe has some. I don't know. There's squares involved, like green and yellow squares. I don't know. I got to do some more research, but
Okay.
maybe we'll get on that. But for my loser of the week, it's got to be basketball in the state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma State went to Morgantown, got smacked by West Virginia. The Sooners went to Austin, got thumped by the Longhorns there at the Irwin Center. And then the Thunder, they at least lost a close one. It was kind of annoying that the Contavious Caldwell Pope banked in three was kind of the decisive shot in that one. But yeah, just not a good week for basketball in the state of Oklahoma, and especially for Porter Moser. I can't imagine this is what he wanted his first OU Texas to look like. They just played so poorly. I mean, got beat by 14. Texas was way more physical, played with more energy. It certainly doesn't help when you go 1 of 13 from three, had 17 turnovers, missed 9 free throws. Tanner Groves basically disappeared. I think he had 3 points. I mean, just it was not pretty for the Sooners in Austin. And Andrew Jones, who now feels like he's been there for forever, gave the Sooners the business. Ted, that was not a good performance on the road for Oklahoma.
That the first half of that basketball game was like watching a slow motion car crash. That was not good. That was unwatchable basketball. It was like 7-6 with like 6 minutes to go in the first half. That was some ugly ball. We had no offense in the half court. Couldn't penetrate, couldn't get anything going, couldn't get any easy looks at the rim, and couldn't get any. If you can't get any easy looks at the rim, can't penetrate, you know, cause that defense to collapse, and you can't hit threes, it's going to be a really, really rough day. I mean, they played good defense for a good portion of the game. They just could not score.
Yeah, it was. It's really hard. This is some deep stuff right here. It's really hard to go on the road and win a game when you can't make shots. And I just thought that, like, all of their offensive action, like Texas really pushed them away from the basket. And like all of their sets were starting out away from, several feet from probably where Moser wanted them. And it was just, Texas was more aggressive and
Mhm.
that's not going to sit well with Porter. I thought as far as Groves, like you really saw some of his limitations athletically come through. They had some athletic guys guarding him, not allowing him to catch around the 3-point line, making him uncomfortable. And it just, they're going to have to figure out some things offensively. As
We
far as the Thunder, the KCP bank three, that hurts, but it would have been nice if Dort would have been able to hit the rim with the look he had there at the end of the game. But I suppose him missing is for the best in the long term. It was nice seeing SGA get it going on the offensive end again. He was really efficient. I mean, had 32 points and continues to impress me with his creativity at the rim. Our boy Josh Giddey with another fat stat line, 18, 8, and 6. But the Thunder have lost 5 in a row and are now 13 and 27 on the season. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I did not have a good time this week watching all this basketball connected to the state of Oklahoma. A lot of L's for the state this week.
Yeah, that game, the OU game last night, was one of the more difficult games of basketball I've ever had to try to make it through. That was tough, man. That was tough. Tough. We've got, it could be a real problem for us. We don't have like our athleticism on ball, like the ability to put it on the floor and penetrate and get to the rim and really put some pressure on people is pretty lacking right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it really, like, that lack of athleticism was really magnified with some of the athletes that Texas has with their length. And I just saw this morning. One other L for basketball in the state of Oklahoma. OSSAA Executive Director David Jackson said a survey was sent out to member schools about a 35-second shot clock, and the survey came back, and a majority of member schools were not in favor of adding a shot clock in high school basketball. I find that impossible to believe. Impossible to believe. I don't believe it. I don't believe that to be the case. Like, just install a shot clock in high school basketball everywhere, but especially in the state of Oklahoma. Stall ball in high school basketball is the worst thing in sports. It's awful. Fix it.
Why would that happen? Why would anyone vote no on that? Is it a cost thing?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It can't be that expensive, but it also, I'm guessing that in high school, even if you have a shot clock that's out, you could still do it with the referees, but I know that makes it pretty cumbersome, but that's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Let's go 4 corners and just wait it out.
Oh, the worst thing ever. So bad.